right, work session number 3 or day 3. It's a Saturday morning, very beautiful out. The humidity is almost nothing right now, and probably won't even need to turn the fan on this morning anyway. So I made the little brackets, the little stops for the flaperons. They're the flaperon stops, so I can adjust them in and out as needed. So we're going to see if we can finish this up, hopefully today. Putting these stops back is hard. You gotta put yourself in weird positions anyway. There we go. Don't give you much clearance, that's for sure. Well, coming to the end of day 3 or session 3 on the Flaperon rigging, and sure enough, not as easy as I was expecting. The problem is when I can get barely into spec with full left stick ailerons or flaperons up. I can barely get my up degrees, and if I get my up degrees, the opposite wing, which is a flaperon down, if you go left, exceeds its degrees. It goes down, I think, 2 or 3 degrees more than in spec. And that's barely getting this up spec. The more I get this into spec, the other one goes down, of course, even more out of spec, and vice versa. I tried every variation of these horizontal and vertical tubes. I did extremes to each side to see which one may have more of an influence on all the way up, down, all varieties. And my conclusion is the geometry of the bell crank or one of the tubes or something's off somewhere. Again, I think this is a problem that a lot of people have, and so I'm not sure if it's better to be too far up or just barely be into spec up, so I'm maybe too far down on the other opposite wing. I don't know. So I called some outside help to see what might I do at this point, but we'll talk to you later. Hi there. Back out here for day number 4, session number 4. I'm not sure I learned a lot between yesterday and today, but I got an idea. I'm gonna try something else. Day 4. Can't really consider yesterday. Day 3, I only had maybe a couple hours in, had some stuff to do with the family. So this has been exhausting, I tell you. My main problem has always been I have barely enough aileron or deflection up, and I had excessive amount of down. And I tried every variation on changing everything in a very systematic way, nevertheless. So I had some organization of what I was doing, a little bit of structure to what I was doing. And person I called saying, make sure you level the wings. I did that about 500,000 times, and to some pretty good precision actually. And I kept getting the same results over and over. So I was able to duplicate the leveling process without too much variation. So that, I don't think that was a factor. I think it's just, for whatever reason, maybe the variation in the airplanes when people build them. But anyway, the biggest takeaway that I got from this whole thing is, for my airplane, was the flap actuator. What I end up needing to do is to take off some threads from the flap actuator. My rod end bearing, I could screw it in, but I still had so much threads left that I couldn't use because the rod end bearing I came to a stop right there. And so what I ended up doing was cutting some of the threads off so I could thread that rod end bearing in a little further, in fact all the way in. And what that did is essentially brought the flaperons up to enough where I had enough throw going up. I still had a little bit of excess coming down. Where I ended up stopping at finally, after lots of adjustments, and I talked to Roger at Zenith, I got about 12.5 to 12.6 degrees up on both flaperons. But unfortunately, as you deflect the left stick, you got the up on the left side. The right side goes down to roughly about 16 degrees. It's supposed to be plus or minus 13, which would put me at 14 as being the max down. I got 16. Roger says it's fine, so I'm going with that because there's no way to get that out of there. There's nothing else I can do. I've systematically adjusted everything, and that's the best I can come up with without changing the bell crank and making me a new bell crank with different throws and stuff, but I'm not doing any of that. The flaps go down. It's supposed to be 15 degrees. Mine go down 17 degrees. Again, Roger says totally fine. That's normal. So don't go by the plans, evidently. So I don't know. I have great control authority throughout the up and down of the flaps without any problems at all. I put my stops in place, and I'm gonna put my regular nylock nuts, washers, everything back into place now and be done with these. Talk to you later.